J Jinx!
Truck stop!
J Jinx here with a quick video, maybe. So I bought this knife. It's made by GVDV during one of the Prime events some months ago, and I just never got around to opening it. And I'm trying to clear out a backlog of content because I'm going on a road trip soon, and I'm going to have fresh videos to edit, so I'm trying to get this stuff out of the way. But anyway, yeah, Prime Day came along, and I was like, I feel like I should get something. I gotta be a good American consumer, right? This was a knife that I spotted. It was marked down like 50% off. I think it started at like $15, and I got it for like $6 and change, something like that. And I don't remember what it is. So this will sort of be a mystery unboxing. Let's have a look at the what it says on the packaging. So it's cardboard box wrapped in plastic. And this green sticker, it says GVDV metal pocket folding knife, 7CR15 stainless steel survival knife, tactical knife for camping, hunting, hiking, with safety liner lock and belt clip. Gift for men, silver, new item. I love when they put, this is a new item, because it implies that you have the option of getting a used one. They got customer service, made in Shenzhen, China. Hardness, they claim 55 to 57 HRC. Now for the opening, I'm going to use a knife that I mentioned in a previous video, and then I went and dug it back up out of my basement. This was the Generation 1 Schrade Viper OTF. It's my first OTF I ever owned. I bought it probably 6 to 7 years ago when I started getting more into knives. And it's a bit of a clunky and dated mechanism at this point. The middle here is totally open because this is a track that this piece will run to push the blade out, and there's a spring behind it that to release the spring, you just have to push this forward, and it makes a pretty cool sound. And then there's this funky little loose black thing that releases it, and then you just kind of charge it back down. And it's got a safety switch on the side. And so this is one of the first of the Viper OTFs that Schrade came up with. It's fun, but it's not good. I mean, the handle is absolutely enormous compared to the blade, and it's got its problems. But hey, I wanted a fun OTF. Another cool thing you could do with it, sort of cool, it's got a couple of different stages that it closes into. You could actually pull it back, and with the tip coming out just a little bit, it holds it down. But now it's got like a hair trigger. You just barely move this thing and it flies out. That's just a weird design issue, I suppose. Anyway, enough about my first OTF. Let's cut this thing open. Well, inside we have a foam insert. And here is the knife. I'd call that more of a pocket clip than a belt clip, but I suppose that's what you could use it for. Now I kind of vaguely remember ordering this because I liked the 3 slot. There's like these 3 milled out slots. Kind of reminds me of like an old 90s Benchmade knife. And it's very boxy. Just a hint of a taper towards the bottom. We have a very deep ride pocket clip, the kind that swoops up and over, which is about as recessed as you can get. Oof. And that's the knife. Kind of matte silver finish on this drop point blade. And it's liner locked. Oh gosh, I do not like this knife. Well, for one thing, you could probably use a flipper tab, but I guess it's not a smooth pivot. It's not gonna be a flipper. And it's got Teflon spacers. The centering looks good. The tolerances are pretty tight in there. And the thumb disc is very difficult to access. There's a little cutout for it, and I like the look. It's kind of flush with the rest of the knife, but yeah, that's hard to do. And the whole thing is put together with star head screws. The liner is also kind of hard to access. They do have it poking out just a hint, but the cutout is so small that I mean, I can get in there and do it. It's just not ideal. Well, I'm glad I only paid $6 and change for it. This is not a good knife. It's not even too... It's got comfort issues. I got hot spots down here by the bottom of the pocket clip. They're not terrible, but I've held many more comfortable knives in my life. And also this notch cutout, it's right where the fleshy bit of my finger sits. I can feel that jimping on the liner lock, and not in a good way. The thumb disc is rectangular, I guess. It's yeah, just about the actual width of the knife. And the only identifying mark anywhere is the GVDV logo. That's really hard to see. It's right there because it's like gray on gray. Out of the box, the grind is very consistent. Let's try the old paper thing. Well, that's pretty good. From the bottom of the blade to the tip, it's a very consistent grind and a very consistent cut. So that part they did fine. It's a compact knife. It's not that light. The liners and the scales are a little bit on the thick side. I don't know what the scales are made of, but it looks like it could be aluminum or it could just be a hard plastic. My favorite thing about this knife is the look. I still like the look of it. It's just the operation of it. I'm not a fan of the opening and the closing. The pocket clip has a pretty low amount of tension, but it looks like it'll work just fine. Well, those are my first impressions. I'm overall not very impressed, and I'm glad I paid as little as I did. I would have been disappointed if I paid full price, even though it's not that much. Yeah, I might skip out on carrying this one. Save my time for better knives. There we go. But I'm going to look up this company and see what else they make, because the fit and finish is actually pretty nice. Everything's nice and chamfered. There's no dings, scratches, nicks. The blade is good. Relatively soft steel, but that's not always a bad thing. So I might look them up to see what else they have to offer, but until then, the GVDV ZD-18 folding knife for survival, camping, hunting, and etc.